Hey everybody, I'm Matt, Client Success Manager for White House Custom Color. We are in downtown Lakeville, Minnesota, outside of BennyAni Photography. You can actually see it behind me, working on a redesign for Marggie, the owner, today. And we were actually down here a few weeks back, did a walk around tour with Marggie, talked about the studio, some goals, some changes, things of that. So let's just take a peek at how the studio looked before we started our process. We are honored to be at BennyAni Photography with Marggie today, so thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
So why don't you tell us about your transition into this space and like how long you're at the other space and all that fun stuff.
Sure. So we came from Burnsville,
Yep.
so not too far away, about 20-minute drive from here. And our square footage there was about 817 square feet. And now we're standing in just over 2,000. So it's been nice to just spread our wings and add so much more variety to our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can remember from the first space that I was in, your photographing area, your shooting area was quite small, where now you have multiple spaces, which we're going to check out here in a second.
Yes.
It has to feel like a breath of fresh air.
Yes, brand new. It feels awesome. The variety, all of our clients, especially our repeat ones who've been with us for a long time, walk in and they're just blown away by the variety and the space that we have to offer.
Absolutely. Well, let's start our tour here if you don't mind.
Sure.
So we were commenting earlier, this is about the space that you had in your other locations. So this is just wonderful.
Yeah. We had a little bit more than this to work with, but this is huge. Older buildings, as I was telling you, it's hard to keep them warm, and I need to have them warm for my newborns. And so I chose this little tiny nook back here to put my newborn table on, and so I can have my heaters. So it gets hot back here.
Yep.
But it's worth it. And then families just kind of make themselves comfortable here. And yeah, we just have all the room and the space just to spread out.
And how long do you allow for a newborn session? Is it like an hour, 2 hours?
Yeah, on my schedule, we have a 4-hour block. It's usually only 2, but I need that time in between. A lot of people might not think about it, but creativity takes a lot of energy too. Absolutely. And so if I'm doing back-to-back sessions, it's like, I can't even think right now. So I use that, it's usually a newborn. It's 2 hours, 2.5 max. So I use the time in between to edit, grab a lunch,
right.
quick lunch.
Take a little breather.
While editing, yes, take a breather, do some edits, things like that. So,
awesome. Well, let's continue on our tour. I know that you are a product-based studio.
Yes.
You do in-person sales, so let's check out where you're actually meeting with your clients for that. I'll let you lead
yes,
the way here.
Sure. So we have our own private office, which is nice now because we have our own workspace, but people are certainly welcome to come in, and toddlers take that invitation very well. They love coming into play. But for a consultation, our clients come back and I have seating here for them. Sometimes grandparents come too, which is great. So we pull some more chairs in. We always do a debut up on the big screen for their images. So it's the first time they see them. It's put to music and the birth stats, and there's always tears. Happy tears, of course. If
right.
I always say if dad cries, then I know I did a really good job. But moms usually have some happy tears, and we do all of the consulting here. I can show them all kinds of samples of our work, our most popular items. We have brochures we put together with packages. So it's just a nice, comfortable space for them to be able to come to. And
well, let's slide out into your camera room because that's like a major expansion with this whole project.
Huge.
So let's talk about some of the cool features of this space as we're going around. Why don't you tell us about your sliding walls?
So I have to give a shout out to my husband, who's an engineer for these sliding walls. So we have numerous different walls. There's a couple brick ones hiding behind there. We've got some wainscoting, and there's another one hanging here. But we can switch your walls as well as the furniture very easily. Which is so nice because every client that comes gets a questionnaire. So we know what to expect, whether they want a living room, a bedroom, studio paper, a boho couch, a normal couch, all the things, what colors they want on here. So we can switch all of that out before they get here, or they can see it in person. A lot of people like to do that, and we switch it out while they're here. And we try to create personal sets for everybody, even if they're just a little different from somebody else's.
Right. Yeah, I just love this. I mean, the colors and the textures and having the space to set that up and just leave it.
Yes, it's amazing. And this has been really good for toddlers, especially toddlers who don't want to take pictures. I just have them jump on the bed and we get all the giggles that we need, and we get we get the pictures that we need. And then it's safety for our newborns with smaller siblings, if they're Irish twins for sure, or like 1 to 2 year olds who are a brand new big sibling. It's much safer. We're always spotting, but it's much safer on the bed, so that's been really nice too.
So you have your paper backgrounds. Yes. It looks like you also have a couple like kind of barnwood looking sets. Yes. So more contemporary, got your big strobes. Give us a little rundown on this area.
So this is mostly the cake smash. We used to have a cake smash zone warning sign over here somewhere. It might be behind that door or that light. So colors, obviously we want to have a big variety, and you can see we have our most popular colors are hanging on both sides, and then we have more on the ground. So we can flip those. We have more up there. So we can change out colors as needed. People have all kinds of requests, but you would be surprised at how many people are like, you're the professional, you tell me what to do. I'm like, so they tell me, okay, here we go. And I'll do my best. And like you saw in there, we have a wardrobe too. So if they come just themselves, we can dress them and match them on a color, make everything beautiful. Like I said, all of the cake smashes are done here.
We're really thrilled to be back. We're super excited for the work you've done, that you're continuing to do, and how this is really gonna change and push your business ahead.
We are so excited.
Awesome. So before we start bringing everything in and doing all the fun stuff and unpacking and hanging, let's talk about a couple of the spaces that I am most excited about. And I think you are too.
Oh, there's no words.
Yeah. So this wall right here, when we came last time, had a gigantic graphic on it that I think that you were maybe just a little bit protective of.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I was. When I first looked at this space, I was like, it just blew me away when I walked in. Because I'm a photographer, so art it means something to me. It was an old photo, and it didn't have a year on it, but I think it was like from the 1910s, 1920s. Mm-hmm. But it was a picture of downtown Lakeville, and it included my studio from the outside. Yep. I thought that was awesome.
Right, and it totally is awesome.
You're like, rip it down.
I'm so aggressive. But, as we talked, and, you're a good listener, you understood the value of this wall.
Yes.
And what this really means. And especially the way that your studio is laid out, this hallway that we're in right now is really your gallery.
Yes.
And it's where people can see product. Yes. Because where you're doing sales, we've talked about this, you're going to have to get people up, kind of take them on the tour.
Yes.
And this is part of that tour.
Absolutely.
Now, tell us about the grouping that's going to go here, because we're both in love with this one.
Oh, yes. So one of my favorite things about shooting newborns is getting those little details that go away way too fast. Yep. The tiny little fingers, the tiny little toes. And when you're getting those details, you also get the dry little skin on there and the little hangnails that, all the things. Yep. And so I have this beautiful little girl who we captured a full image of. Yep. And then I went in and I got a bunch of macros of her. From everything from her little ear, where you can see the tiny little hairs on her ear, which aren't going to be attractive when she's 20, right, but it's a newborn thing. Yes. From that to her little nose to her toes. And it's just something you look at and you're like, oh my gosh, that was her, like brand new,
Yeah, exactly.
And we did those in black and white because that just makes it even more special, in my opinion.
They're beautiful, and they're on standout. Yes. Deep matte photo paper, which is part of your brand.
That's my signature, yes.
So this is going to be, especially when people come through the door looking to the right, that's going to be one of the first things they see, and I know that people are going to just fall in love with it. I
have a feeling I'm going to need to invest in a much better macro lens, because everyone's going to want that.
Yep. And the whole idea behind what we're doing and adapting within the studio is you want, when people to come down this hallway, you want them to be like, oh my gosh, I love that, I love that, I love that. So then it's not a matter of if they're going to get a product, it's, oh my gosh, which one do I want, or which ones do I want?
Yes.
would be perfect.
The problem then becomes which ones not are you going to?
Right, yeah.
Because why wouldn't you?
Right, exactly. And I love that face. Why wouldn't you? So this is one of my favorites. And then another one that we're going to talk about is actually in your newborn room.
Yes.
So let's just squeak in there and I'll follow you and we'll talk about that. So when we were down here before talking about this space, there was several discussions that happened within this room. And right away I was like, we need to do something here. And you're like, nope, I shoot against that wall. And then after about 10, 15 minutes, you're like, well, maybe we could do that.
It wasn't that quick, Matt.
I had to fight a little harder. But the importance, again, we're talking about like really valuable walls. This is a valuable wall.
Huge. Especially
if people are in here hanging out. And I also love that you did this because this was not here before. Products were not out in front of them. Yep. If a mom's in here, family's in here hanging out, you want them to see product. You want them to touch and feel and start selling to them right away without ever saying a word.
And I think they've appreciated it because they sit here and look at it the whole time. Before it was all out there. Well, they didn't go stand out there and browse because they want to be in here with their baby. Right. Didn't make any sense. So thank you for that. But this has been great. Just a few simple products even on this.
Yeah, totally. And this wall, the grouping is the largest one, I believe, that we're putting in, correct?
It's huge. It's 10.
Yeah. So this is going to be a complete transformation of this wall. Yes. Not ideally would you be taking that down for a shoot, but you could. I
doubt we will, but we could.
Yeah. So, for everybody that is following along, it's important to look at your space and make the most use of it. Like you have a lot of windows, you're in a corner, so it doesn't leave you with a ton of display space. So utilizing this wall in particular, I think is going to be very valuable to you, especially in this room.
Completely agree.
Yeah. So, are you ready to get started?
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait.
All right, well, you've been awesome. The images are beautiful. We can't wait to see the whole redesign happening here today.
Gosh,
so let's get to work.
Let's do it.